What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a little bit of a reading vlog as well as book reviews, and we're going to go through all the books on my February TBR. Let's start with the first one. So I don't know if you guys saw, but I posted on my Instagram like which book should I read first, and I didn't see Beach Read until the day after, because when I looked at it again, it was half The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, half Beach Read. So I was just like, you know what, let me just pick this one, and I read it in 3 days. So this book is 385 pages. I read this book in 3 days. Here is my Goodreads review. Since I posted it on Goodreads, I'm not really going to talk much about it, but bottom line, I rated it 3 stars. Right now, as I'm filming this, it's February 6th. So I read this from February 1st all the way until February 3rd. And I thought it was an entertaining book. I thought it was very interesting. I think that Taylor Jenkins Reid's imagination is very, very cool, because I would have never thought, like, this is just such an unconventional book. Like, I've never read anything that is like this book, and I thought she did it really well. Like, I was very interested the whole time. That's pretty much all I'll say about it. 3 stars, didn't really leave me with anything. Am I gonna read more of Taylor Jenkins Reid? Probably. But let's get into what I'm reading now. So since I finished that book on February 3rd, I started this one on February 3rd. And right now it's February 6th, so it's been around 3 days. And I am a third of the way in, and I'm on page 128 out of 361, I believe. Can we just appreciate Emily Henry's illustrations? Like, I love these covers. Anyways, so far, I like it. There's been a few scenes that I've been like, what? And also I've laughed at as well. It's entertaining. I've been reading Emily Henry's books from last to first, so backwards. I read her most recent book first, which is Book Lovers. That was the first time I ever heard of Emily Henry. It was phenomenal. I give it 5 stars. I absolutely love the book. Then I read People We Meet on Vacation, rated it like 3 stars or something like that, because I was like, it's all right. Didn't give me the same feeling as Book Lovers. Now this is the first book I believe that she released. It's giving first book, you know? I don't know if that's accurate. I read it backwards, so I can definitely see how she's progressed as an author throughout those 3 books. I know that she's coming out with Happy Place this year, and based on other booktubers and what they think about it, I may or may not purchase it, but right now I'm not really thinking about it. But anyways, cue montage of me reading Beach Read. Okay, so I just got to chapter 13, and let me show you guys this. How is Emily Henry gonna do this? I dreamed about Gus Everett, and I woke up needing a shower. Chapter 13, chapter 14. Like, okay, I see you, girl. Back to reading. Why was that actually the funniest thing I've ever read? So in this segment of the video, I was just talking about how there was a portion of the book that I had just read about a cult that had ties to a church and God. And what bothered me about this is that no other religion gets slandered by literally everyone and everything the way that Christianity does. And I think it's blatantly not fair. We live in a world where everyone wants to be accepting except of Christians, when literally the one goal of Christians is to love God and love people equally. So it just bothered me, and I needed to address it, because as a believer in Jesus Christ, I think that it's unacceptable, and people get canceled for far less than this. So I just wanted to address it to you guys first and foremost, that as a believer in Jesus Christ, that this is not what God is like. This is not what church is like. Jesus is amazing. He literally saved my life. He saved my friend's life. So if you guys want a video talking about what it's really like to be a Christian, completely real, completely raw, completely genuine and authentic, holding absolutely nothing back, I would absolutely love to make one, because clearly it shows that anyone who's not a real, genuine believer in Christ has no idea what it's like. And I'm just going to put it out there once more. God is not a cult. Christianity is not a cult. So please do not go around thinking that what you read in a fiction book is a real representation of Christianity. That's all I wanted to say to you guys. I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and just please remember that, you know, be kind to people, be loving to them, and please don't assume anything that you definitely don't know is true. If you have questions about anything in this life, do the appropriate research. Don't read everything you see on the internet or in books, unless they're nonfiction and unbiased. Good morning, guys. So it is the next day and I have finished Beach Read. I read this in about like 3.5 days. And yeah, so let's talk about what I thought. All right, so first of all, like I said before, look at how beautiful the colors are. Like it's giving summer, it's giving spring, it's giving beach vibes. The cover is 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. Like if I saw this book knowing nothing about it, I would pick it up. Now I wrote some notes on my computer about what I thought about it because like as I was reading, as you saw in the past few clips, like there was these quotes that I just like had to put in the video. I was like, whoa. I try not to include any spoilers, but I just needed to share it with you guys. Let's get right into it. Beach Read by Emily Henry. I gave this book 3.5 stars. And if I'm being honest, I had trouble pinpointing a rating because I really liked the book. Like I liked it. It was exactly what I wanted, an easy, lighthearted romance. Even though there was a lot of heartbreak in it, it was just exactly what I was looking for, you know? And I don't know why, but that made it difficult for me to rate it because I was like, is it 4 stars? No, but it's also more than 3 stars. So I was like trying to pinpoint an accurate decimal point so that it would give the book justice. But sorry guys, my hair is a mess right now. So I was trying to give it decimal point to give it justice, and I guess I just landed on 3.5 because it wasn't 4 stars and that I'd recommend it to like everybody and it was so good and it left a lasting impact. I would recommend it, but it was just, you know, it was just a romance, if that makes sense. Like it was just a good romance book, you know? So that's why I landed at 3.5 stars. Let's get into the things that I wrote about it because I just wanted you guys to know like what was going through my head as I was reading this. Okay, so the first thing I noticed while reading this book was that there was a lot of similarities that I saw between her next 2 books and this one. For example, the main character's editor reminded me almost like exactly to the editor or the main character in Book Lovers, if you guys have read that book. Second of all, the love interest, his kind of personality and how Emily Henry describes him reminds me very, very similarly to the love interest in People We Meet on Vacation. It wasn't a problem, but because like People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers are 2 completely distinct books, but this book kind of set the stage for each of them. And maybe she did that on purpose, but me being a reader who read this book last rather than first, I was kind of like, I kind of wish she didn't do that, but if it's the other way around and she did it kind of just to set the stage for the next 2 books, I kind of get it and I would have liked it better, but I don't know, that's just what I thought. The second thing I noticed was that there was a lot of repetitiveness in this book. Like I shared with you guys in an earlier clip how this was her first book that she wrote, and then People We Meet on Vacation was the second, and then Book Lovers was the third. And it was giving like first book in Arthur Writes. Obviously this isn't like the first time Emily Henry is like publishing or like writing ever, but you can tell like this is giving like, you know, initial book, like still finding her author's voice. And I compared this book to Book Lovers, and Book Lovers I think was just absolutely exquisite. Like I think Emily Henry found her voice, she found her style, she found her characters, you know, like everything about it was just amazing, which is why I rated Book Lovers 5 stars. Once again, that's just my opinion, that's what I thought about it. But it was repetitive in 2 areas. So the love interest in this book, he refers to the main character January as a fairy princess, and she literally can't let it go. Like she doesn't let it go until the last like 75 pages. Every few chapters she's referring back to how he called her a fairy princess, and I was like, okay dude, literally like your relationship with him has evolved so much, why is that still running through your head? And maybe it is accurate to how some people think, but for me it was just like, get over it. Like it was kind of annoying, it was a little bit annoying, but anyways, it wasn't that bad. Then the second area that was really repetitive is that she has some, I'm not gonna spoil it, but she has some issues to work through with her father. Her flashbacks with her father also appear throughout the entire book, and they're for the most part all identical, which is why it made it repetitive, a little bit redundant. I was like, okay, we understand like the meaningful moments that her and her father had together. Like you don't have to keep repeating it for the scene to be intact, you know? I don't know if that made sense, but that's just how I felt about it. But once again, it wasn't that big of a deal. I just didn't think it was necessary. Okay, the third point that I wrote down was, this is truly a book you can read in any season. Like I know that it's called Beach Read and it's set in the summer, but I read it in February and I just thought that this book was so well-rounded that I literally felt connected to it in the cold of February. There's also points in it that talk about January because her name is also January. There's also a little moment that's described in February, so I felt definitely like I was in the element, like I could still see everything happening without like longing that I read it at a beach in June, you know? So this book really, like, there was a note inside of here. Christina Lauren on the back wrote, delightfully romantic and slightly poignant, the perfect anywhere read. And I completely agree. It is really a great, perfect anywhere read. The last point that I had reviewing this book is just me applauding Emily Henry's writing, because I'll just read to you exactly what I wrote. I love Emily Henry's way of writing a book within a book. If you guys don't know, in this book, the two main characters are authors. And People We Meet on Vacation, the main character is a blog writer. And in Book Lovers, the two main characters are book editors or publishers. So there's always a book within a book or a story within a story in this book. And within this one, there was actually 2 additional books inside of it. So I was like, I'm literally getting 3 books in one, but I'm watching the books unfold. Like, it was honestly something so epic and so unique and something that I've never read in any other person's writing before. This book is a whole within itself, but she also has these details that formulate other books that her characters are writing or editing. And it adds so much depth to not only the story, but to the characters. You really get to know the characters by what they write. You can really tell this is her own style of writing, and her imagination is so vast that it makes this book distinct from any other books that I've ever read, and I honestly love it and respect it. This reminds me of what goes on in my own head when I think about life and when I think about writing stories. It's difficult to put into words skill or I'm having trouble even describing it now. Bottom line is, I love it. I love her writing style, and since I read all of Emily Henry's books, I am more likely to pick up Happy Place when it comes out this year. Don't forget to follow my Instagram where you can vote on my polls to tell me which book I should read next. Here's my TikTok to keep updated on my New Year's resolutions as well as more book videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. God bless and peace.